Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand spanking new episode of MovieKombat. This is MovieKombat episode 8, and we're getting through these. I say that every week, but I'm actually shocked of just how far we've gotten into the series of 13 movies. We have after Mulan, we have Princess and the Frog, Tangled, Brave, Moana, and Raya and the Last Dragon. So we're on the back half, and we're actually pretty close of getting this thing done. So this week we watched Mulan. Every single week, I always keep track of 1, 2, 3, 4 things specifically, and this week was a bit of a shock. I actually didn't realize that there weren't that many songs in Mulan, just considering that the movie does have some pretty iconic songs in there, but it doesn't have a lot. And honestly, I don't think it really needed it. But I think it could have done with a little bit spread out, but I think when you get to Act 3 of the movie, you obviously really can't do that because it gets really serious. It's a war, it's fighting, it's things like that. So you can't really do too much musical numbers during that time. So I get that. But with this one, it only had 4 songs in it. 4 songs, which is the song. First one was when Mulan goes in to get all like dolled up. That's one. And then the second one is Reflections, which is one of my favorite Disney songs, actually, in any movie. That's one of my favorite ones. And I actually don't like Christina Aguilera. Like, she does do a great rendition of this song, but I actually prefer the movie version of it. I just like it more. I think it just sounds better. And then the third one is there's Make a Man Out of You. What was the fourth one? There is a fourth one, which I don't know, might come to me later. But yeah, and then the next one is when do we see Mulan? We don't see Mulan until we are 3 minutes and 8 seconds into this movie, which is actually relatively early considering all of the actually looking at the rest of them, that is the earliest. Oh, Cinderella does beat that because she shows up as a little girl. So that does take that one. So Cinderella shows up 2 minutes and 4 seconds in. And then Mulan actually shows up 3 minutes and 8 seconds into the movie. And then the next one after that would be Snow White at 3 minutes 31. And then, yeah. Oh, no, Beauty and the Beast is 3 minutes and 23. So, there you go. And then the villain, we actually see first. Which, keeping track of these little things, it's very interesting to see that the villain actually gets introduced more often first than the princess herself. Like, they actually wait a little bit before they show her. And I'm trying to figure out who the villain was. I think Beauty and the Beast didn't do it because Gaston technically is the villain in that movie. So Belle shows up before that. Ariel shows up before Ursula. And I think Cinderella technically shows up 4 seconds before the evil stepmother. But yeah, those are the rest of them, the villain always shows up first. So, kind of interesting. Then the next thing is the first song. And the first song in this movie does not start until about 6 minutes and 6 seconds into the movie, which is when we get the Mulan getting all dressed up and fancyified. So, yeah. That is those things I like to keep track of. So, as we progress through tonight's movie, I gotta say, this is I'm gonna probably talk pretty highly of it because I don't know. There's something about Mulan. This movie is just so good, and like the cast was really great. There's a lot of voices like the voice cast for the movie. You've heard them in other things. The main actress that plays Mulan, uh, she is in Mandalorian and Boba Fett. She was in those movies. She's been in several things. I think she's actually the only person that has been in all of. Yeah, I think she's been in all of Disney's mainline franchises with being a princess. She's been in the MCU because she played Melinda May in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then she was also she's in Star Wars. So she's been in the MCU. She's been in the mainline Disney franchise, and she's also been in Star Wars. Apparently, she was also Chun-Li, which I haven't seen Street Fighter all the way through, so that's very interesting that she was that too. But yeah, she doesn't sing this though. She doesn't sing Reflections. There's a different person that sings Reflections, which I didn't really know that was a thing, but yeah. Obviously, Eddie Murphy's in this movie, and that's the big actor that came in here. Donny Osmond is the singing voice of Shang, but yeah, that was kind of like weird, I guess. I don't know, because I believe his name is B.D. Wong, who played Shang. It's interesting because like they kind of don't. They sound very similar, but just a little bit off. And also, I think it's Ming Na Wen is the actress that plays Mulan. I think she can sing too. So it's just very interesting why they chose not to have her sing for. George Takei is or Takai, however you want to say it, is the first ancestor that shows up, the ghost spirit thing. So, yeah. But anyway, I haven't seen it in a while, longer than I probably really care to admit. Fresh, how's it going? And I don't know. To me, I feel like, yeah, the movie's just, the animation is fantastic. I said this about Pocahontas, but even with Pocahontas, you can definitely tell there's some like artist mistakes, which I think do add to Pocahontas. I think it adds a lot to it, mainly because when I watch Pocahontas and I see the colors, to me, I feel like that movie is supposed to be a watercolor painting of animation. It's supposed to feel like a watercolor sort of viewing, and so the marks and the scratches and things like that, and to me, I feel like add to the aesthetic of that art style. Whereas Mulan, we're in the late 90s now. There has been several amazing Disney movies that have come out in this time frame, and we've gotten to Mulan, like even from Pocahontas to Mulan. In Mulan, it's just like it's that perfect, like that's my childhood animation style of Disney. It is like everything is so done to a fine detail with also still giving them the fluid sense of motion. It just does a really good job. Plus the movie, being that it is a Chinese movie, like it's a Chinese story, they keep that aesthetic throughout the entire film. They did it like they do a perfect job with it with Hercules as well, where it was supposed to be like the Greek feel to it. That movie, when you watch it, it feels like it's a Greek movie, but it has a Disney look to it. They did the same thing here, where it's like it has Chinese sharp like lines, but then also flowing lines, like how the alphabet works there. And so it just does a great job with keeping the that feel of it's a Chinese story, and it's just done really, really well. Plus, being now in its 4K version of it, I'm assuming the Disney Plus version is a 4K version. The movie looks great, upscaled from its original like DVD release. So, or actually, well, this was VHS, so it'd be a VHS release, and which would have made it probably 4:3. I don't think the movie was probably released in. We'll see what the aspect ratio is. Let's see. Does it say? I guess not. Original aspect ratio, because obviously now it's not that. It's 60:9. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. It hits beats so well of we're in the village with Mulan. We keep with Mulan. We get the plot of what's going to happen. We get why she's where she's at. The one thing that does get me is how is she a princess? It's the one thing I didn't. I'm trying to think how she's a princess. Is the father like I tried it like as soon as the movie ended? How is Mulan a that's like one of the search things. Due to the combination of factors, including her heroic actions and her inclusion in the official Disney princess line, despite not being born into royalty or marrying a prince. While she doesn't fit the traditional definition of a princess, her bravery and strength, along with her popularity, led to her inclusion. That's what I was wondering, because I'm like, wait, she doesn't marry the guy, the Shang is his name? Yeah. She doesn't marry him, and even if she did, he's just a general. He's not. It's not like she marries the old guy, like the emperor. So it's just really interesting of where it was like, what did I miss? Like, what information did I miss? So apparently Disney, they don't care that she's the one that slips by, where all of these other women have been or married into princess, into the princess role. But according to Google, she doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She's not born into it, and she's also not married into it, which, yeah, I can vouch for that. And in no part of that movie did it ever say that she was. So, yeah, I get it's very interesting. Let's see what else Google says. Disney made a deliberate decision to include Mulan in the official Disney princess lineup, recognizing her as a powerful and inspiring female character. This inclusion broadened the definition of Disney princess to encompass characters who achieve greatness through their actions and not just their birth or marriage. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about it until I watched this movie and like going through the podcast form of it. That's the thing. So, with I don't know. But yeah, I think going into the breakdown of this act 1, we follow the character, we talk about the character. She does we never leave her unless we're talking about Mushu, but then when Mushu's little side charactership starts, then it gets blended into Mulan's character, and Mulan then has her part of, okay, she found a problem that she wants to solve, which is her dad going off to war when he's very old and he could very easily die, and taking his spot. She goes, that's our next section. That's our like act 2 of the whole entire process of this movie. And then she gets trained by Shang and goes through that whole thing. We have some little fun song and dance from point A to point B to back to point A. And I don't know. I think, like, when I say that, I mean going from a Mulan story and then they have to leave for a second to go show what Mushu's doing with whatever he's doing with the little cricket and whatever. Then they come back, and they do that, or they'll have to branch off to show Shang dealing with his whole side of the story, and then they come back. They never leave too far away from Mulan's story. It always goes boom right back to Mulan's story, which is great. So I just have to I just really enjoy it because the movie is just overall amazing. It's fun. You have great songs. You have great animation. So with that said, before we get to the review part, let's talk about some of the IMDb corner since we keep bouncing back to this. So let's go and look at that. Here in the IMDb corner, we take a look at some fun stuff, some fun trivia and whatnot. One thing I like to look at is the taglines, which is the thing that is on the posters that will try to sell you on the movie as you're walking around in the movie theater or when you're possibly going to the, what do you call it? You're looking at it in the store, and it's on the back of the DVD box. We have 4 of them. So here we go. Number 1, an epic motion picture event. Okay. Little broad. It could be anything. On June 19th, feel the courage, feel the glory, and feel the power. There's a lot of capitalizations and no periods and no commas in that. But okay. The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all. Okay. So that one is pretty good for this movie because that does sort of get said again in the movie because the dad notices one of the rose blossoms not quite blooming yet, and so he says that line, and that's a pretty good call to that scene. Last one is this time the princess saves the prince. See, that one's a lie because we know that Mulan's not a princess and that Shang is not a prince. So I don't know. I get it, but also it's not have anything to do with any of that. Okay, let's move on into some trivia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got 5 of the facts here. There are plenty more, but we're just going to read these first 5 here. Mulan touches her hair a lot because the animators noticed that Ming-Na Wen because the actress that played her does. So there you go. Because she touched her hair, the animators were like, "Yeah, let's just put that in the movie." So there you go. That's kind of cool. This film marked Disney's first ever DVD released in November 1999. All right. Fa is the Cantonese pronunciation of Mulan's family name. How is the correct Mandarin pronunciation that means flower. Hao Ping, Mulan's fake name, means flower vase or just vase in China. And effeminate, I don't know what that means. Feminine, but it says EF. Feminine, go grief. Man is often called a flower vase or flower pot. Oh, okay. So a feminine, which I don't know why they didn't just say that. I get what that word is, but I don't know. So a feminine man, they call a flower vase or a flower pot. So the fact that her fake name is flower vase is kind of a call to that whole situation. Okay. Next one is Mulan's name means wood orchid or magnolia. As such, magnolias serve as a running motif in the movie. That is true. That is it. So, okay, those were magnolias. Okay. And then the last one is the first Disney animated film in the first Disney animated film to openly deal with warfare. I guess. Yeah, I guess that's the underlying thing. Because, like, Pocahontas, it's not the thing they're doing. Like, they're not in war, but they will go to a battle. They're not in war times. Like, in Mulan, they are in war times. Like, that's the whole reason why that she even gets called. Well, her dad gets called into going into war because they're in war. They're in a wartime. So, all right, yeah. Now, the first time that Disney hasn't done animated war films, but one that is a animated film openly dealing with war. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Release date was June 19th, 1998. I was three. Yeah, I was three at that time. I was like, June. Yeah, I would have been three. I do remember we owned this movie. We had the VHS. We didn't have a DVD. Let's see. Budget was $90 million, which I think is less than what Pocahontas was by a lot. I think Pocahontas was like $200 million. I think someone else was $200 million. Someone was really expensive. Well, yeah, let's see here. Pocahontas right here. So let me see. Pocahontas was $55 million. Oh, okay. Beauty and the Beast was 25. Okay, so Pocahontas was yeah, more expensive. And then this one was 20? 90. Holy God. All right. Yeah, it was way more. Never mind. That's a lot more. That is a lot. That's almost double. Okay. So, budget in US and Canada was 100 or gross US and Canada was 120.6 million. So, not too bad. Got your money back in the US and Canada. Opening weekend in US and Canada was 22.7 million. So there you go. They didn't make their money back necessarily, but they made a pretty good dent in their opening weekend on June 21st, 1998. So, which releases June 19th. So, I don't know what these like off releases are. And gross worldwide was $304.3 million, making it a complete success for that movie. So that's how that works. And it is an hour and 27 minutes. It was, color is color, and sound mix is Dolby Digital and SDDS. Okay, well, that is going to be taking a look at Mulan. So let's get into reviewing this film, shall we? So the way that we review things here on MovieKombat is we use the Primal Target official movie review scale. And yeah, this we have done through our last couple of films here, our whole entire series. But this last couple here have been very, very high. Very high. But let's take a look back in time on all of the movies that we've reviewed so far. Snow White has a 7 out of 10. The PT Nation score was an 8.3 out of 10. Cinderella, I gave a 8.1, and PT Nation gave it an 8.6. Sleeping Beauty was an 8 from me, 8.5 from you guys. The Little Mermaid was an 8 from me, 8.2 on you guys. Beauty and the Beast was a 9 from me, and a 8 point, or I'm sorry, no. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, sorry. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast was a 9 from me, and a 9.3 from the PT Nation. And then Aladdin was 9.3, and I gave a 9.3, and you guys gave a 9.3. Pocahontas I gave a 9.4, and you guys gave a 9.8. So, Mulan, where does this one rank? Well, I don't know. To me, I think that the movie is, I can't really say it's a 10. It's not blow me out of the water type of movie. It's enjoyable throughout the entire film. The animation is so great for the art style that they're going for, and the actual like storytelling that they do with it. The character is perfect to a point where it's like you have the flaw, you have her challenge, she conquers the challenge, she does a great job doing the what she's trying to set out for, and the side characters are also great. Now, do I think it's better than Snow White, which I gave a 7? Absolutely. Do I think it's better than Cinderella, which is an 8.1? Yeah, I would say it's higher than an 8.1. Sleeping Beauty and Little Mermaid were 8s, so those get thrown to the side. Beauty and the Beast is a 9. Do I think it's better than a 9? I do think it's better than a 9. But this is where it gets a little complicated, because now we're going to get into, is it better than Aladdin, and is it better than Pocahontas, which is a 9.3 and a 9.4. I think because the movie, okay, so here's where it's going to get a little bit like very nitpicky. Finding out that she's not a princess does have a little bit of an imposter sort of situation here, where the rest of these women are princesses, or these movies have a princess in the movie. Aladdin obviously is not a princess. He's a prince eventually, but because Jasmine is a princess. So it's a movie combat about Disney princesses. So I have to dock it a little bit for that. But I would say it rides pretty close to Pocahontas, but I think the animation is just a bit better to set it above Pocahontas. So with that, I'm going to give Mulan a 9.5 out of 10, because there was even moments in this movie that I was even like singing the songs because I knew what they were. It's not that Pocahontas doesn't have those types of songs, but Pocahontas is definitely more of an artistic film, whereas this one it's serious, and it's also fun, and it has a character you can get behind very quickly. Any gender can watch this, really. Like, it's not about, it's about a boy, like it's about a boy, so little girls might not like it, or it's about a girl, and so little girls might not like it. This is that thing that's breaking that gender norm that Mulan does really well. It takes that of like, hey, women can do stuff. It's not like they can be just on the sidelines all the time. So with that said, I'm going to give Mulan a 9.5 because I think the movie is just that good. Now, Fresh gave a 9.1 out of 10, and since he's the only one here for tonight, then that means that is the official PT Nation score, is a 9.1, which is still pretty good. I think respectable. I think it's respectable to give it that. But it does make Pocahontas still the PT Nation's highest rated movie. So that's kind of interesting. I never thought Pocahontas would have been the one to do that. So, on to next week. Next week, we are going to be watching The Princess and the Frog. So, if you guys are watching here on Twitch, we are going to be doing that one next week. Probably Wednesday, just because SummerSlam is this weekend. So, we'll probably only do one next weekend. Kind of dated this for the YouTubers. But if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe, because these are coming out pretty regularly. I wanted to record them all at one time, or, get them all recorded and then upload them. So if you were watching this in the future on YouTube, make sure you head over to twitch.tv/Primal_Target and make sure you hit the follow button over there, because that way you could be a part of next season that is probably currently going on right now. What topic are we talking about? I have no idea, but you'll know, which is kind of weird thinking about that right now. Like, more information than I do now about my own show. Pretty crazy. But anyway, that's going to be it for me here tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time when we will talk about The Princess and the Frog. Good night, everybody.